I'm Paul Munson. I'm from Sun Ovens International. We make solar cooking ovens. These are ovens that will get up the temperatures that are high enough to bake bread, make roasts, do just about anything in the power of the sun. We make two types of solar cooking ovens. This one behind me is what we call a villager sun oven, and this is are used primarily in developing countries, mostly in schools, hospitals, orphanages. We have these ovens in 55 countries, and they can make up to 1,200 meals a day just with the sun. They can also bake a large quantity of bread. And many orphanages, for example, in Africa wind up using them to cook for their children, and then in the off hours they bake bread and sell the bread, and that helps generate income to make the orphanages become more self-sufficient. The villager sun ovens are sold on a trailer so that they can be pushed outside during the day for use and then pushed in a secure area for overnight storage. And the villager sun ovens come with a package of 150 pots and pans. If we're setting up a bakery, it comes with wire whips and insect-proof flour containers and everything that's needed for a small-scale turnkey bakery. In addition to that, they have a propane backup system so that they can be used with the propane in the event of a rainy season, or if they want to cook at night with it. It's actually so well insulated to hold the sun in that it can make up to 1,200 meals a day with the sun, and we can make up to 14,000 meals on one 20-pound canister of propane. The primary oven that we sell, though, is what we call a global sun oven. And a global sun oven folds up and carries like a suitcase, and it's a family-size oven. It's designed to cook for 6 people in America or 8 people in a developing country. And a global sun oven can bake, boil, or steam foods just with the power of the sun. Setting up a global sun oven is pretty easy. You just set it on the ground or on a picnic table. It's a very simple one-piece construction, and it opens. It has a little pin that allows it to lock so that it holds it in place in the event of wind. And then you open this chamber and you put a pot or a pan inside here, and you can bake, boil, or steam food. The global sun oven comes with a tray that we call levelator that allows food to stay level if you adjust it to follow the sun. And it has built into it a leg in the back which has 9 different positions, so in early morning or late afternoon as it is now, or during the winter season, we can raise it up to be able to maximize the angle of the sun, and midday most of the time it just sits flat on the ground. The interior of the global sun oven is made of a black anodized aluminum, and that's the inner box or inner shell as we call it, and the leveling tray. The outer box is actually made of a durable ABS plastic, but between the aluminum inner box and the plastic outer box is a very thick pad of a non-toxic food-grade fiberglass insulation. So it can actually be 400 degrees Fahrenheit inside the oven, and you can touch anywhere on the outside and you don't feel any heat at all. The frame of the oven that holds it all together is made of a kiln-dried poplar wood, and then the reflectors of the oven are made of a highly polished anodized aluminum. The anodization process is a process basically where the coloring with the black or the polish is put in, and then it bonds the molecular structure of it. I always mispronounce that word, I'm sorry. The molecular structure of it will bond together so that it adheres and the finish never comes off. The reflectors are 86% reflective, and they are rated to be used in the sun every day from sunup to sunset for 15 years. So in the United States, if someone has a sun oven and they store it in a storage shed or in a garage when they're not using it, there's no reason it won't last a lifetime. The most important part of the oven is actually this black gasket. This gasket's designed, it has a glass door that you close and you latch tightly, and the gasket's designed so that it can stay in the sun and it's never going to split, but it forms an airtight seal to lock the air inside the oven and allows it then to, but if there's gas that comes off the food, if the food outgasses at all, the gas escapes out the back of the oven. So this has been designed to be used for 15 years in a developing country, and as I said, in the U.S. it would last a lifetime. There's 2 ways to cook in a sun oven. One is if you refocus the oven every 30 minutes as the sun's moving overhead, you can cook food in relatively close to the same amount of time as cooking in a conventional oven. In a sunny day, this will get up in temperatures in this area of between 350 and 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and so pretty much if you're going to bake something that normally you'd bake in an hour in your regular oven, it's probably going to take about an hour and 20 minutes in a sun oven. Each time you open the door of the sun oven, you want to add 15 to 20 minutes to your cooking time to allow for the heat that's lost with it. If you refocus it every 30 minutes, your cooking times are comparable, or you can slow cook. For example, if you were going to make a roast chicken, if I took a roast chicken and I put it in a pot and I refocused the oven, I could cook a 3-pound chicken in about an hour and a half. Or I could take a frozen chicken, put it in the oven in the morning, set the oven facing south where the sun is at noon, and go to work and come back at dinner of a perfectly cooked roast. So I can slow cook by leaving it in one place. The more often you refocus it, the faster it cooks. The amazing thing about cooking in a sun oven is that food doesn't burn and it doesn't dry out. When you're cooking in a sun oven, if you have a pot of food inside the oven, the pot, the food, and the air around the pot all heat evenly, so you don't have to worry about stirring food because the pot and the food are heating at the same temperature, and there's no movement of air, so food doesn't dry out, so you don't have to worry about your food drying when you're cooking. So it's a very forgiving method of cooking, and one that allows you to do just about anything. You can put the food in the morning, and if you expect to go home from dinner at 5 o'clock and you don't get home to 8 o'clock, you're going to find your roast or whatever you've cooked is going to be moist and warm and ready to eat, even if it's several hours after what you planned, and it takes quite a while for the oven to cool down. The only thing you can't do in a sun oven is fry foods, but other than that, you can bake, boil, and steam, so it's wonderful for making pasta or just making rice and beans, or making any kind of a casserole, heating yesterday's leftovers, or you can remove the leveling tray and make up to an 18-pound turkey in it. So it's quite versatile in what it can cook, and the real benefit of using a sun oven in the U.S. is that if you cook with it in the on a hot day, you're able to not have to cool down your home, and it can save quite a bit of money in utilities. When it comes to camping or RVing, in many of the parks around the country where they've banned any kind of open flames because of forest fires, the sun oven works well because there's absolutely no danger that anything will catch on fire. Besides, for cooking, it can be used to purify water. It can also be used to just heat water to do dishes with, and it's got a variety of uses. Also, some people, when they go car camping, find that a sun oven makes an excellent cooler. Sometimes on the first night of camping, people don't have enough room in their cooler. If they take a frozen ice brick and put it in the chamber, it actually works better than most standard coolers do because it's so well insulated that you can use it as a cooler, and then when you have more room, or if you're traveling for a day and you want to keep something cool in it, you can take it out and then cook it when you get to where you're going. So it's got a lot of versatility. Another great use of a sun oven is that it's fantastic as a solar dryer or dehydrator. When we cook in the sun oven, we latch the door tight, get an airtight seal to trap the air. If we want to use it for solar drying, if we take one of these latches and we raise it up, it allows the temperature inside the oven to stay low enough where it's drying. For drying, generally you want to be at a temperature between 110 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we it's by leaving the latch open, then the moist air has a place to go. And if something's being dried that takes more than one day, the latch can be sealed overnight, which will create an airtight seal and will allow it then to will also keep bugs out. So you can suspend the drying process overnight and let it finish the next day. So we have sun ovens in a variety of countries around the world, and our objective is to provide an alternative to cooking with wood or charcoal in deforested countries, and the ovens that people use in the United States help us offset the costs of the work we do in developing countries. Currently, there's sun oven assembly plants that make the ovens in Haiti, in Ghana, the Dominican Republic, and in this September we'll be opening an assembly operation in Uganda, East Africa, and we're expanding the use of the ovens for a variety of places around the world to help prevent the environment and also help to aid the environment and prevent infectious lung disease amongst women and children.
Great.
Hope it wasn't too long.